Guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Chantel and you're watching Diamond Mind, where I want your divine mind to shine so you can feel. Today's video, I want to talk to you about movie magic. This movie, Catch Me If You Can. Let's get on to the video. So, today's video, I want to talk to you about movie magic. See, anything we love and we put into our hearts is 1,000 times more powerful and magnetic because our heart has a stronger energy field than the rest of our body. And so our favorite movies have a profound effect on how our life manifests. Maybe it's the certain way the characters are. Maybe it's the way their lives are. Maybe it's their aesthetic. Whatever you favor about your favorite movies can be attracted into your life. I was inspired by this information from another thought leader, Alexander. And he says the exact same thing, that our life has a profound, or that movies have a profound effect on our life and influences the way our life is created. And so, today's movie I want to talk to you about Catch Me If You Can. So the main plot is Leonardo, his name is Frank in the movie. Frank is a 17-year-old boy. His parents have to downgrade from a big house to a small apartment. And so this puts a lot of stress and pressure on his parents, and they end up divorcing. And so as a 17-year-old kid who really looks up and admires his parents, he gets frustrated and decides to run away. And so he decides to forge a check. And I believe it doesn't work out the first time. So he's inspired when he sees these airplane pilots. He's like, well, let me just create specific checks from a certain job. So he gets airplane toys, takes the sticker that mimics the airline sticker, and perfectly crafts it to make it look like the perfect airplane pilot check. And he starts cashing these checks in at the bank. And lo and behold, he finds out that the airplane pilots can cash their checks right at the airport as well. So he takes advantage of this, ends up getting a lot of money. And so this leads him to getting a huge mansion. But what happens is the investigator, Tom Hanks, I forgot his character's name. Anyways, I'm going to call him Tom. Tom is trying to find Leonardo. And so through this movie, he's trying to follow the paper trails and track him down, and takes a long time to succeed. And in this time, Leonardo shifts from a pilot to a doctor and finally to a lawyer. After this, he kind of goes MIA a bit in Paris, France. All the while, Tom Hanks is trying to track him down. And then eventually he does. Leonardo surrenders, and he ends up going into prison for about 12 years. But the thing is, Tom bails him out because he brings Leonardo a check that has been forged from a different case. And of course, Leonardo, being in the movie Frank, being so educated and detailed with his craft, he can spot right away what a forged check looked like. He was like, oh, the paper's too thick, the ink looks stationary, all this and that. The FBI hires him to help them figure out all these cases. And that's where he gets to live out the rest of his sentence. And so he does try to run away one more time, but then realizes it's totally not worth it because he has a secure job. And then this ultimately leads him to creating secure checks, which cannot be frauded. He ends up making millions of dollars. So how does a little boy from 17 go on to making millions of dollars on the other end of his life? Well, to me, this is a really obvious case of the law of attraction. So I have a few notes. So, in the first case, as soon as he starts forging checks, this feeling of urgency, this feeling of money, because he's officially on his own, he's just trying to get away from his parents' situation, and so this feeling of urgency plants a seed into his subconscious mind. Like, money is the main goal. I just need money so I can survive, so I can keep thriving, get everything I want. And then he keeps going like this, job after job. When he was a pilot, it was easy for him because he just got the suit and the stickers. But when he went to become a doctor, he had to create the whole school certificate as well, saying that he graduated. This he does perfectly as well, creates the most perfect looking certificate. And then for becoming a lawyer, he studies for 2 weeks and passes the law exam. And so what's happening here is now his subconscious mind is telling him, is planting the seeds of skill, because he's learned how to forge checks. He's learning how to forge his school certificates. So this takes a great deal of skill and accuracy. And so now he's telling his subconscious mind how to observe these things, how to tell the details of these papers, the ink, the stamps, the paper itself, the writing, all of it. So that's more seeds he's planting into his subconscious mind. And then ultimately, overall, through this whole experience, he trains his subconscious mind to seek financial freedom. Now, this type of urgency, this type of skill, and this type of goal to be free, have the money, this is all being planted in his mind from a young age. And he had all those years in between to feel this. And so I feel like because he planted all of these seeds of goals, knowledge, and consistency, I feel like these seeds ultimately manifested his path to being the person to create secure checks and making millions of dollars. Now, I'm not saying that you have to like run away and never look back, and I'm not saying that you have to put your life on the line and your integrity on the line. I'm just saying the feeling and the repetition of him constantly saying, okay, well, what's next? How do I get the money now? How do I get the money now? How do I get the money now? And taking the action really put him on a pathway that automatically makes him a magnet to money, because he's told his mind the importance of it. He values it, and he told his mind that no matter what, we have to get it. But in a broader perspective, what does this mean? But in a broader perspective, I feel like the universe crafted him to be the perfect person to create secure checks. It was almost like the end goal of his life affected his past, because time does not exist and is an illusion. So all the decisions we make throughout our life affects the other parts of our life. So when he reaches the point of being the person to create secure checks for the world so nobody can be fraudulent anymore, that's a significant impact that affects the entire world and affects how societies run and our secureness. And so I believe that this manifestation was the universe manifesting through him to become this person. So now this brings me to you. What are you doing in your life right now? Does it seem like the pieces of your life is not making sense? Does it seem like you're kind of just doing things that wouldn't really make sense to other people? Do you have a life path you don't quite understand yet? Well, I feel like the pieces of your life is ultimately creating you for your destiny. I like to believe in fate and destiny. And I believe that different parts of our life molds us to become the perfect end product, end manifestation. So in this movie, in this case, which is a true story, in this case, he was created to be the perfect person to create secure checks. And he couldn't have not become this person without have going through these trials and errors in his life. But it was happening for a reason. His life path happened for a reason. So it's creating your mind. Every experience, every educational experience, even the bad experiences are creating you. The person you are now is because of all the things that happened to you in your past. And take away one of those things, you're no longer that person. So the law of attraction is always working in your favor. Whether you can see the end result or not, you can know that the universe has a plan. And it doesn't have to make sense. And it doesn't have to make sense to the world. It doesn't even have to make sense to you. Every piece of your life is creating different parts of you that is crucial to become your best future self. And remember, even if your path does not seem conventional to the eye, it is creating your subconscious mind to put you on the perfect path. Even the education behind it, even if you're self-taught, every part is putting you on a bigger picture path that only you can understand and only you can put the pieces together for yourself at the end when you finally figure out, why is this happening? You have to have patience with this though, because life is always happening and you need time to grow and to be molded. So don't be discouraged if your path does not seem perfect or your path does not seem normal. Now I hope that really resonated. I believe the cuts in your diamond mind are the cells of your brain shaping your reality. Bye.